Hi everyone. There was some controversy this week at Royal Ascot when the Riddler won the Norfolk Stakes under a poor ride from Paul Hannigan. He cut across, drifted badly, continued to use his whip. I think that was what the big issue was. The fact that he, despite the horse drifting, he continued to use the whip in the wrong hand, and was lucky to not bring other horses down, or to bring any horses down by not straightening his own horse up. Now, the things that were disappointing for sure, Paul Hannigan talking about it afterwards and suggesting he might get a holiday. I always thought a holiday was a positive thing. If I go on holiday, it's a good thing. He's talking about a holiday as in, I'll just get a holiday then. That was really disappointing to hear that. He should have been very apologetic, saying I've made a mistake, I've messed up badly, and I'm sorry to the connections of the other horses that I caused interference to. He just it almost came across a bit of a joke to him, or to me it was a joke for him. He didn't mind. I think what needs to happen in racing, we've got to be harsher on the rules. Horses do need to be disqualified more. I think I'm sure I read it was something like 2009, the last horse to be disqualified for dangerous riding. These are massive, great horses. If you're allowing them to lug into other horses and then continuing to ride and use the whip and not straightening up, that's getting really dangerous now. And I think they've really got to look at that dangerous riding offence and what you actually have to do to cause it. Does a horse have to fall? Does a jockey have to get injured before it's regarded as dangerous riding? One thing that I did think was interesting, so he got a 10-day ban. Now for me, that's fine, but the ban's got to be on relevant days that are similar in prize money to what he's received the ban in. I would almost not say that. I'm almost thinking they shouldn't get a 10-day ban. They should get a 6-card ban, or a 6-race ban, from races worth this amount of prize money or more. And what I think that will do is it will really demonstrate that you can't just go for, and get your claim of the share of the prize money and think, it's just going to be a load of maidens next week that I can get a ban on. It doesn't matter. In football they kind of do that, and I think that's really poor. They get, a yellow card to take them up to 5 yellow cards because they're playing Norwich next week. If you're Man City or Liverpool, whatever, because they're like, well, I can sit that match out. But I don't think that's right in football, and I don't think that's right in horse racing, in the fact that the bans should be on races that are of the same or more prize money, to really demonstrate to the jockey that you're going to miss out quite a bit here. You're going to miss out on your riding fee, but you're also going to miss out on the chance of winning more prize money, which is surely what the jockeys are the most interested in, is getting a load of prize money, because it's a load of money. If you win loads of money, you win loads of money. So I think that needs to be certainly looked into when the races or when the bans take effect. I think we need to look into when a horse is disqualified, who wins the race. It should be the second horse, but I actually made a poll about this. If the Riddler was disqualified, who would you think should be awarded the race? And although 51% said Warbank, there was like 19% and something else percent went for Crispy Cat and Brave Nation. That just demonstrates that even if the Riddler had been disqualified, the rules people would have complained about. Who ended up winning the race. It was a really poor ride here, but there were other rides during the week that also had similar interference. Kyprios, Ryan Moore on Kyprios, he came across a couple of horses during his race, and yet there was no real talk about that at all. He cut across Princess Zoe. You saw a few horses get snatched up because other horses were leaning into them or drifting across them. I know this was worse because Paul Hannigan continued to use the whip, but even then there was other horses that had drifted, had gone across horses, and there wasn't as much of an outcry, really. Some of the outcry, I think, from pundits, analysts, trainers, etc., on social media was because they knew they had an audience. These types of rides do happen other days. You know, at Lingfield in a Class 5 handicap, it does happen. But because there was not enough people actually watching the race, these trainers and pundits and analysts that like to shout and scream and get attention don't talk about it then. They knew that this was obviously the first race at Ascot on the 16th. Was that the Wednesday? On the Wednesday or Thursday? Let me just check. I can't remember. On the Thursday. They knew everyone was watching it. They knew everyone was on social media, and it was going to be a story if they talked about it. And I think that they didn't blow it up, but there was this fake outcry or fake outrage because it had been on TV and more people were watching it. If we want to change these rules, and if the trainers and that want to make their pieces and state their cases for things, they've got to be consistent. Same with analysts, same with pundits. There was a few TV pundits that went off on one, and yet it happens all the time, but they don't go on about it then. Because, controversy and shouting and screaming and getting likes and tweets and retweets and things like that is what far too many pundits and analysts and trainers are doing now, unfortunately. So whilst I agree he should have been disqualified, I agree there should be a ban, I agree there should be a rule change, we've got to be consistent in how we criticise the rules and the ride and the criticism of the jockey. It has to be consistent throughout the year, not just on the big days. In terms of the ban for the horse or the jockey, so I think the horse should have been disqualified, and I think the jockey should get a ban, as I said, on races, certain races that they are similar or more prize money, to stop them from taking a ban knowing they're going to win a load of money in this race, and I'll take it on a race that I would only win a few £100 if I won the race anyway. So I think that they're my points for the interference, what I think needs changing, and how I think there was this fake outcry from some pundits and analysts and trainers because they knew they were getting the attention.